everybody see the nice little S at the top?
Yes.
As that thing. All right, I'm going to explain what that is because these right here are tiques that you've been writing down. This S means it's supporting, and if you're not listening, I strongly suggest you do because this does affect you for STAR. I do not know what's on your STAR test. I know y'all think I do, I really don't. However, we do know that if it's a supporting standard, it's not always tested. However, I still have to teach it, but it may not be tested. If it's an R, it is automatically tested, which means you need to know that material no matter what. Guys, I thrive on questions, so please ask. I don't care if you think it's the stupidest question you've ever had in your life. Ask it. Somebody else has it as well, I promise. All right, has everybody gotten their Chrome card or gotten their pages, gotten their stuff cut? There's only the mint green one you were cutting. All right, while y'all are basically trying to figure some stuff out, I'm going to show you mine. That way you know how this... All right, since I'm here and talking, that obviously means you're done, you're ready to go. So, yeah, I'm not playing around, not messing around, not doing with the extra talking. I asked for it once, not to be done. I'm going to ask some questions. I need you to be honest because I'm not going to use like the number in front of a variable. I'm going to instead use coefficient. Does anybody not 100% sure what a coefficient is?
No.
Okay. I can handle that. Guys, I worked at Gladewater several years ago. Literally, we had 2 periods. I had a girl who literally probably, and I wish I was kidding, but I'm not, 100,000 questions. During those 2 periods, which is about 90 minutes a day, 180 days, 100,000 questions, easily. Her entire class grew. Like, everybody did better than their previous year's STAR scores. And this, by the way, was 7th grade. I had several mastery, all because one girl was willing to say, I don't get it. Guys, if you don't know it and you're not sure what to ask, Miss Garrett, I don't get it. I'll ask you questions to figure out where you're lost. All you have to do is be brave enough to ask, okay? Or tell me, yeah, I'm not sure. That's the only reason I'm here is to make sure you get this. Otherwise, everybody be online learning. All right. 4x, 4n. Write this in. Your coefficient is just a very fancy way of saying it's the number that has a variable next to it. You're basically saying you've got 4 of those x's or 4 of those n's. Constant. Let's say you have 4x plus 5. 5 is your constant. This is also called a term. I am going to eventually put a poster up next to the growth mindset of coefficient, constant, and term. Alrighty? Alright, distributive property. How are we with distributive property? I'll take from the glances that no, we are not 100% sure. You don't really have to use it much here in 8th grade. However, next year in algebra, you will. So, this is how I do it. And we'll use a 2. So we're going to do x plus y plus z. Okay, I'm going to use a very young example because it works. Everybody's familiar with the idea of Santa Claus, correct? All right, let's say everybody in here is a fabulous person, then Santa was coming to deliver presents. Would they only deliver it to one? Would he only deliver it to one person in this room?
If they would.
I'm saying everybody in here was fabulous. Oh. So would he only deliver to one?
No, he would deliver to all.
So that's how distributive property works. I use arrows, and I use arrows differently than other teachers. So it's going to deliver, so it's going to do 2 times the x. And then it's going to do 2 times the y. This is where I'm a little different because most teachers are only on the top. And 2 times the z. Because anytime you have a number and then a parenthesis, that automatically means multiply. Automatically no ifs, no ands, no buts. Number, parenthesis, multiply. So you're multiplying by the x, the y, and the z. Here in 8th grade, we will only deal with x and y. And that's even if it even deals with it at all. Algebra, you got a lot more. All right, real quick, on equation, put equal. Put an equal sign. I'm going to give you some words today that will help you understand what an equation is. Not really an inequality quite yet. I guess actually, yeah, we're doing inequality today too. All right, inverse operation, remember that's just opposite. Isolate, you're getting a variable by itself. We're going to use this in terms of solving for our variable. You've done this in 6th grade, you've done this in 7th grade. Now you get to do in 8th grade where we have variables on both sides. That means you must show your work. You will have some issues if you don't. Now, I'm going to skip over linear equation. When we get to system of equations, y'all will love this. I want you to know how to solve an equation by paper, but system of equations will actually have your calculator do it for you. So that means you will not have to necessarily solve an equation anymore. You can actually learn how to do it with your calculator. You'll still want to know for algebra next year, but for my purposes, calculator tricks are fabulous. Y'all good with that? All right, term. This is just basically any number, variable, or whatever in a thing. Constants are definitely numbers. Terms are anything in an equation or inequality. Y'all good with that? All right, variable. This is any letter. Y'all good with that? How many of y'all are not 100% comfortable with a variable? Okay. This you do not have to write down. Just pay attention, okay? I'm going to give you how these lovely things started, and I think that might make you a little more comfortable. Who remembers doing this and pardon my lovely drawing? Who remembers doing that in kindergarten? Hey, guess what? How much is each apple? One would hope it's just one, because there's one apple and another apple makes two, right? And then eventually you started doing this, right? And you had to figure out what went in the box. If it was the same number, what would it be? Hey, what do you know? 1. Gentlemen, are we good over there? And then it went to this. And you were told the line was the same thing. So what number is that?
1.
Now watch this. So we simplify it down all the way to kindergarten. So you guys actually understand this idea of algebra. All it is just using letters and numbers together. The only thing is, you've been dealing with this your entire life. The only difference is, now we're using a letter instead of some picture or something. Does that make sense? So what's x equal? 1. It didn't change. The only thing that really changed was your idea of the math. You have technically been doing algebra since you were in kindergarten. There's algebra teaks in kindergarten. For real. If you don't believe me, go through and look at the critiques for kindergarten. You'll be like, holy crap. So, do not be afraid of variables or letters. All they are is just a number you don't know. All right, so yet again, we have a supporting standard. You are going to write, but in our case, when it comes to testing, you're actually just going to figure out which one it will be. So corresponding, it just means the one that goes with. By the way, I'm on page 44. So page 44. You're going to be given a one variable. That means you only have to deal with an x, not an x and a y, just an x. Equation or inequality, and this time the variables are going to be on both sides of the equal sign. Hence why the work is so important. Any questions on this? Just giving you what you're eventually going to have to do. This is what the state says I got to teach. Sorry, guys. All right, go ahead and go to page 46. Y'all's should be nice and pretty and folded with this page up top and this glued. Everybody good there? Yes, I'm putting in a little extra stuff because you're the class I get to record today. You're welcome for that. It's not like it changes anything. This is what they see too. All right, so equals words. This would be the same, total, exact, sold for, yields, and will be. This is also equal to. This is result. So it will result in something. Is probably the one you guys are most familiar with, or at least you should be. Was. Is and was, past tense is. Were. Gives. Any question on your equals words? And you guys can use these anytime you're doing any kind of assignment for homework. Your test, your STAR test and your testing will look more like the homework that you're going to get on Friday. You'll probably have mostly time in class to do it, so before y'all freak out on me and go, homework, it's probably not going to be homework. All right, so be good if I get to write today. Also, I did look at a lot of y'all's about me. If you cannot read my writing, please tell me. You will not offend me. I will fix it. All right? All right, so it's the variable. Or it's the unknown. So it is the unknown. It's also known as a letter in the alphabet. Y'all good with that? Yeah, I'm going to move over while y'all are writing. All right, so if you are already on the inside, if you're not, it's okay. Take your time, write stuff down. But if you are, you can go ahead and write this in with me too. All right, this is add, plus, and, more. Like if you have more than somebody, or more than. More than is not always going to be an inequality word. It could be just a plus word. Positive. Combine. All together. Increase. And for those of you who are in athletics, all in. Also, total. And my football players, gain. Or, as I was told earlier, soccer as well. I know y'all gain yards. All right, subtraction. We have decrease. Yeah, sorry about all the writing today. Less than. Take away. And it is okay if you go outside the lines. Minus. Fewer. Subtract. Negative. Reduced. Difference. All right, looks like everybody has made it off the first page. So I'm going to slide that over. All right, multiplication. Yes, I'm turning mine sideways. times multiplied product factor. And I'm leaving that space in the middle blank on purpose, so please do not write in the middle. Double. And I'm going to use this as my time sign, my dot 2. That means times 2. Triple. Times 3. I'm going to go ahead and use the dot as multiply from here on out because on your testing, that x is not an x. It's not a time symbol. It is a variable of x. Exponent. Remember, exponents are just repeated multiplication. Of is one of your, probably the biggest one you will see. And the ones you will get to know the most, especially with slope, per, each, and every. And I'm going to go ahead and cloud around that one. All right, and our divide, split. If you split something or if you have a ratio of something. If you have something that's put into parts. And I'm going to fix that nice little into. All right, if you separate, if you distribute, so if you have something and you distribute it to others, you are making your stuff smaller, which is dividing. I pushed a button. Quotient. Also, if you are not comfortable with division, like you never understood it, come visit me in the morning sometime and tell me. I'll teach you how to divide without a calculator. Divide. Divided by. D-E-D-B-Y. There we go. Share. If you share something with a whole bunch of people. If you half it. Divided by 2. And no, I did not say hat. I said half with an F. Group. And fraction. Any fraction is always division. All right. Is there any question on any of those words? Once you are done with that, go ahead and fold that back together. Some of y'all are a lot faster than I am. Remember, you've already cut on the nice little dotted lines. For those of you who did never find where that dotted line was because you cut all the way through, they were right here. So, if you did cut all the way through, it is no big deal. As I told you already, you can just glue it in. All right, so on our top left one, we have is less than. This is also is fewer than. Top right is greater than. And is more than. Most of the time, you guys are really great about those. It's the ones on the bottom that we tend to have more issues with. So, for those of you who've already dealt with me speeding, I'm sorry. I have a bad speeding problem. If you have not noticed, yes, I've been driving up Gilmer Road. Yes, I'm the green Mustang. I drive way too fast. I'm sorry. It's just a fact. All right, so this one's fairly easy. Is less than or equal to. You're like, Miss Garrett, why are we bringing up my car? Or your car. So, when it's raining, I drive at most the speed limit. That means I do not drive above the speed limit at all. Is no more than. I drive no more than the speed limit. I do not drive greater than the speed limit. While it's raining. Any other times, yeah, I'm probably speeding. Sorry. This is why I don't drive a bus. So, when it is not raining, Miss Garrett's always driving above the speed limit. So, is greater than or equal to. That one's the easy one. Is at least. So, I'm driving at least the speed limit. If it will also help, think about a roller coaster ride or carnival ride. You have to be at least this tall to ride. That means you can be taller. Is no fewer than. So I'm going no fewer than the speed limit most of the time. And is not less than. I'm definitely not driving less than the speed limit. All right. Those are your words. So once you got those, I do believe we're on page 47, right?
Yes.
Which means you guys will actually have 9 minutes to work on I ready. If you need to work on any corrections, reminder the cone corrections are due today.